Hi, I'm Mercedes Rose. We're behind the scenes here with the cast and crew of Animus Cross. We're going to talk about all of the secrets of the series. Let's take a look. Do you mind introducing yourself? We'll just go right across then what you played in the series.
Sure. I'm Harold Phillips. I played Henry Foray.
Jerry Buckbaum, Alvin Sarkis.
I'm sorry, Catherine, what did you say, guys? Can we get a close-up on
Sarah, I kept wanting to say Kelly. God. Take two. My name's Catherine, and I play. Oh God, I was gonna say Sarah.
Okay, you sure about that?
I don't know.
Catherine, what's your last name?
My name is Bukowski.
So tell us how, and I guess, Jerry, this question goes to you. Where did Animus Cross come from, and who wrote it?
My wife Amanda Steen wrote it, and it kind of was over a few months, and then we started talking about shooting it, and we were thinking of a feature, but then we thought internet series are hot right now, so we figured we'd go with that.
It was a good plan. Where'd you shoot?
Idaho, up in Sagal, Idaho, at Amanda's family's.
Sagal?
Sagal, actually. It's right by Sandpoint, Idaho. It's almost near the border of Canada. You go out of Spokane, it's up that direction north.
Did you? I have to ask. Did you build that steeple chapel?
Actually, our director, writer, and Amanda built the steeple here in the garage before we went up, and we put it in the back of the boat when we were driving down the road, and it looks like it's made out of bricks, and people were looking at us like, what is that big heavy thing doing in the back of the boat? Of course, it was made out of styrofoam.
Harold, when you were first approached about this, did you have any misgivings about what your character was going to go through?
Well, I didn't realize how cold Lake Pend Oreille gets at any time of year, let alone during the summer.
I was very proud of you for not shaking.
It was a little bit challenging being in the middle of the deepest lake in North America. What, in August, I think it was we shot?
September.
Yeah, September, yeah. Which you would think would be really warm, but it's frigid, especially at 4 a.m. And when they approached me about doing this, I was really excited because I really think that the frontier genre is ripe for something like this. The days when people were out in the middle of the woods, when it was dark, when it got dark, where there was no electric lights, were very scary times. And I think it's something that we've really lost in contemporary times. So I was really interested in the story and in what it offered, and getting the chance to work with Jerry and Amanda was just an extra bonus.
So, Catherine, your character has...
Sarah. My character.
Your character, Sarah, has to wear the big skirt and the blouse all the way up to the neck, and
what they thought was attractive was the bigger your face looked, the more attractive it was. I was like, awesome.
Great. Just what I was hoping for.
That's here for historical accuracy.
Not only does the camera add 10 pounds, but then the
right
hairdo added another 20 pounds. So that was awesome. Well, and the outfit too, it was actually really nice because it was freezing like at nighttime. So it was nice to have that. But then it wasn't so fun when we got in the water and you have like 20 pounds of skirt floating around. And
I liked the line about, I thought two soldiers fresh from the war would be prepared for this. Not so much.
Yeah, well, we didn't know what we were getting into.
Who's that supposed to be? The other soldier? Is that supposed to be friend, brother?
That was my buddy Nathan, who I was in the Civil War with.
And is he dead?
That's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, he might make a comeback.
I think that Judith was a little concerned about the trip out to Frontier, Idaho, keeping in mind that it's 1867, just after the Civil War. So Idaho doesn't have an interstate leading up to it. It can be a pretty dangerous road, and the thought was that a couple of Army veterans might be able to provide a little security along the way. Plus, I'm hoping to marry this young lady sometime in the future, so it might be a good chance for Judith to get to know me, too.
But what can you tell us about your behind-the-scenes crew?
Well, everybody really had to wear a lot of hats, and it wasn't one of those projects where it was like we had a whole art department. Like I said, Amanda built the steeple. Dave built the raft. Really, it had to work, and then it also had to look like it was built by handcrafted in the 1800s. You had to get it to flip and do all that with the cabling. So
and hold what, 5 people?
Yeah, and hold 5 people and not be sitting on wet ground because it was underwater. Which we had to bring in some styrofoam blocks and put them underneath for the actual scenes with the actors. And when we flipped it, we couldn't have them there because they would have been seen. And then the wagon, we bought that wagon, was 4 wheels and a little chassis, and that was it. And in 3 days, we had to pretty much build it into what it was, making it look like a covered wagon. That was hard.
It turned out well.
Jerry mentioned that we had a very small crew. And I have to say, Jason Satterland,
Yeah.
our director of photography, and Dave
Amazing.
Steen, two people who did amazing things with just their four hands. And in the middle of the night, coming up with this stuff that makes it look like it's a crew of 50. It's astounding the work that they
Yeah,
did.
because who did the costumes for you guys?
Cindy Steen was sewing for weeks at a time before we got to the shooting days.
She made his leather.
And she made the
real
leather tunic out of a kit that we got out of Tandy leather, and we got our friend Tom Mannon, who's a cowboy reenactor. Kim Davis, he is a Civil War reenactor. So some of my costume was Civil War vintage. Some of most of Harold's costume was Civil War vintage. Then we had the Western vintage. But the problem is you can't have the 6 guns like you do in cowboy stuff and Hollywood cowboy stuff because it's all wrong time period wise for what we're doing. So it's all black powder weapons. So we had to go back even further than the regular cowboy 6-shooter, which made it a little tougher on us.
Were you trying to be historically accurate?
Oh yeah,
Hollywood.
very, very historic.
Idaho.
That's one of the things Amanda was really adamant about, was making it 1867. No.
Harold, what was your favorite scene to shoot?
The introductory scene that had the camera tracking where I got drugged by the creature and shot him in the face. That whole long, what was that? That was like a solid 2 minutes without a break almost. That was really cool. But I have to say, one of my favorite scenes was probably getting dunked into the lake by Jerry. I mean, it was challenging.
Controlled drowning.
It took my breath away, to say the least, but it was also very raw, and I was in good hands.
Literally.
Very good hands.
He was where does Jeff play?
Jeff plays Ethan in the series, and he's from Nashville, Tennessee, as if you maybe could tell by the accent he had there a little bit.
I could not actually tell.
A little bit of an accent there.
Not Mrs. Wilson. He said Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Wilson.
The very definition of a Southern gentleman, Jeff is.
He's awesome.
He is amazing.
Great
But
guy.
yeah,
Very
he's
good actor.
he's a great actor and a good friend, and we've had him in a music video, a feature that we worked on in Nashville, and he did a lot of stunts, and he's always down for the challenge of doing fun things. Plus, the acting is really good. So.
He's a great guy to have on set. I mean,
I
really.
can feel that.
Jeff,
Yeah.
he just kind of brings people together. I mean, he has that smile that everybody just kind of gathers around. Yeah.
So, Jerry, when you're talking about the stunts that involve the fire, what is that a specialty of yours, or is that just playing with fire? There's a lot of fire.
We would have burned the wagon more, but it cost so much money that we didn't want to hurt it.
Jerry likes playing with fire.
Jerry does
So
like playing
we
fire.
use a little propane burner gag on some of that, and then the part where the lantern falls, we'd have the lantern fall, and then we'd turn on the burner, and it'd look like the stuff spread. There's a lot of little tricks to doing it because we were shooting in a dry area, which had a high fire danger at the time we were there, so we couldn't do much. So it was all pretty much controlled with the propane. Otherwise, it would have been a bad situation. Yeah, but on the effects side and on the stunt side, and it's a good win-win situation, because when you get to a situation, you know how it's going to come down, and you know how the effects side has to do it to make the stunt side safe for the people that are doing the stunts, and you also know how to do things on a shoestring budget, because we work on a lot of shoestring budgets. I think everybody here can attest to that.
What are you allowed to share about what's coming up on the next season?
Well, we're going to get more into a little bit more stunt work, a little bit more fight choreography, and have a little more fun with the characters as well.
Yeah, they haven't had a lot of fun yet.
Well, they've had things that tested them, but now they're really going to get tested. So we're really going to put more action in it. We wanted to, really show the characters first, and then get everybody used to them, get them liking or disliking them as they go, and then get into more action. Being with a stunt background, I that's what I live for. So you got to expect that was going to happen.
Right.
Had to talk the writer and director into it.
Do it.
Come on, we got
a stunt I want to do, and then you just have her put it in there. Actually, that was one of the things I really noticed about the show was the production value is very high. It does not feel like you're watching an internet show. Thanks for watching. I'm Mercedes Rose. Be sure to check back again soon for all new episodes of Animus Cross.